Welcome to week 28 of Foundation 52. This week is Human Resources Part 1. We've got Part 2 down the road. And in Part 1 of week 28, we've got 3 videos that we'll be covering with you. The first thing that we're going to talk about is hiring an HR person. That's what's covered in this particular video today. And hiring an HR person is something that, a lot of small business owners struggle with the timing of, do they need to do it? And there's a lot of options out there, right? So we're just going to talk through that. First thing to think about is if you've ever been in corporate America, then you are familiar with HR, and HR typically gets kind of a bad rap, but we're just going to say this, that there's a lot of really great HR people out there. There really are. And HR is intended to help the business, right? And the number one translation between needing HR less and not needing and needing HR more is this. It's how strong of a leader you are. So if you're a really great leader, you're going to be able to get by longer without having to use anybody in an HR role. And that's because when you're a strong leader, people follow you, they listen, and you're providing good guidance and direction to your employees. So you probably have less chaos and less drama inside of your organization. And, in the audio file, Corey and I talked a little bit about, working with a leader at one point who just thrived on chaos and drama. And he needed HR badly because there was just all kinds of people that wanted to file lawsuits. There was discrimination. There was all just sorts of crazy things going on. So when you're a strong leader, you don't really have to worry about that as much. One of the biggest questions that we get, right, is do I need an HR person? And it really depends on a few factors. First off, if you're going to bring in an HR person, there's a couple of different routes you can go. You can bring in somebody you can hire a full-time person. You can also work with companies where there's a lot of small businesses out there that can contract a part-time HR person, someone who maybe spends, 10 hours a month or something helping with HR. So you've got options. You don't have to go all or nothing right out of the gate. And having somebody who is consulting for you on HR could be a huge benefit because they could help you look at your benefits packages. They can look at your hiring processes. They can look at your onboarding processes and just see where can they help you with those things. And we talk about employee benefits in video 3. And in video 2, we're going to talk about policies and forms. So some exciting stuff coming up. But right now we're talking about hiring an HR person. We want to think about a couple of factors. So first off, knowing that there's different options available. You don't have to hire full-time. You could use a consultant, but really you want to look at how many employees do you have, right? If you really big, policies on things like big laws, not policies, laws really kick in typically when you've got 50 employees or more. Like FMLA becomes a thing when you have 50 employees. Before that, it's not a thing. That's how, that from a legal standpoint, you have to offer it at that point. But you also want to think about how complicated are your benefits? Do you need some help in explaining your benefits or unraveling them a little bit so they're not so complicated for your employees? And then what types of policies and procedures do you have in place, right? So excuse me, you may need to implement more policies and procedures, or maybe you don't have any. So an HR person can come on board and help with that type of stuff. That's also something that you can contract out, right? You don't necessarily have to hire somebody to come in the door. You just need to kind of be aware of where are you at with these people, with these things, how many employees do you have, and what are you legally obligated to provide? And a good HR person can help you walk through that. And that could just be a simple consulting phone call where you're spending an hour or two and, they're coaching you on some of the things that you need. And then you can make a decision from there. A really good person who's worth their salt and worth the money that they're going to be charging isn't going to try and tell you that you need a service that you don't yet need, right? You're going to get some ethical, above the board people who are just trying to help your small business and genuinely want you to be doing the right thing, even if it's not your service, that they're not their service that you're going to be buying. So How do you know when it's time to hire an HR person? Well, if you've got rapid growth, like you're just skyrocketing, you're hiring employees, you need to hire employees really fast, HR person can really help out with that. And again, just for clarification, when I say HR person can help, I'm not saying that you need to have somebody full-time in-house. I'm saying you've got options. So keep that in mind. I'm going to speak to it like an HR person will help you with it. How that HR person helps you or how that contract is set up with them, whether they become a full-time employee or you're just consulting with somebody and they're giving you like 10, 20 hours a month or something, that's entirely up to you. But what I'm saying is these are the times when you want to really look at getting some form of HR help, right? So do you have rapid growth? Needing to hire a lot of people really fast because your product or service is just skyrocketed. Oprah just put it on her like Christmas wish list or the, best gifts of the year to give. And now everyone is talking about it, or you've just had, one of the Backstreet Boys go in and say that they love your product and use it all the time. And you've got, 20 million Backstreet Boy fans wanting to buy whatever it is that you're selling. So rapid growth, you should get an HR person. You should strongly consider working with an HR person. If you're having a culture crisis, so hopefully this isn't happening to anybody who is a part of Foundation 52, because we preach on the foundation of your business and how that's going to protect you from having a culture crisis, right? But if you're having a culture crisis and you can't unravel and unwind that on your own, then you should strongly consider an HR person to help you with that. And then also, if you're not a strong leader, if your leadership skills are lacking, which we cover leadership in detail in week 51, but if you're not a strong leader, then an HR person can really help you with that, with the struggles that are coming as a result of you being a weak leader. And look, not everyone is a strong leader when they start a small business. As we've talked about before, the only barrier to entry for starting your small business is having the cash to start, right? So if you've got the funding, then you're going to learn some things along the way. And maybe one of the things that you need to learn is on the leadership side. So if your leadership skills are lacking, you're more likely to need an HR person who can help you with some of the things that are going on inside of your company as a result of you not being as strong on leadership as you need to be for being a business owner. And then if you need help with employee issues, like, look, we're all humans, right? As long as humans have skin, they're going to have emotion and they're going to have, they're going to deal with things. And so if you're having employee issues, an HR person can really help unravel that and get things squared away for your business. So that's another time that I would consider strongly bringing in an HR person. And then last topic on this is the outsourcing of HR, which we've covered. You absolutely can. There's a lot of great companies out there that do it. So don't be afraid to do some research and outsource HR. It might be a cheaper avenue for you initially if you're still small and you just need that part-time help. It's a great approach for handling HR before you're ready to have somebody full-time in-house. All right, that's it for video 1, and we will see you in the next video.